see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body.
All right, guys, welcome back to a Now You Made It Awkward movie review, where last time we did Black Panther when it came out, Black Panther 2, as it were, actually, Electric Boogaloo.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah, that too. Whatever the subtitles are. And this
It's
time
literally not called Black Panther. It's literally just called Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda. Well, I thought it had a Black Panther, like a small little thing above Wakanda Forever.
It's just Wakanda Forever.
Not sure about that, but either way, so we do have another movie, Marvel movie specifically, and it is the new Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, or it's just Ant-Man 3, but they just don't. It's like you just throw a number. We didn't have to have a crazy name on it. I saw it last weekend. Went out with the wifey, checked it out, and I think Ricky, you saw it right after I did, right? You
saw it on
Sunday?
President's Day on Monday because kids were out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you saw Monday, not Sunday. That's right. And then Rusty, you saw it right after that, essentially
Tuesday.
It ended up being Wednesday, but yes, it was the middle of the week. Yep.
And we've really not talked much about it at all because we wanted to sit here and talk about it. Why have a conversation amongst ourselves and you guys not get to hear it, right? Also, if you want to give us your thoughts on the movie, you can do so either in the comments of this video or you can write to us at the NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail at gmail.com, which I haven't got any emails there lately except from Jay, who was asking me about selling Gundams. So like, which is funny. It's like, dude, you could literally message me. You don't have to send me an email, but we appreciate the activity.
Trying to sell you Gundams or
no, he's trying to buy stuff. I was like, okay. I was like,
and if
I thought you were saying he was trying to sell you something, like, dude, you got it twisted.
You got it backwards.
Shit.
Yeah.
And if nobody's heard, Shoky is selling all of his Gundam stuff, so hit him up.
And some of that sweet cheeks meat.
No, unless you mean pig cheek.
I mean, I would never call you that. I'm your friend.
Yeah.
Face cheeks?
Y'all should see his face. I hope you do this
face.
Video. You
face,
try not to laugh. You're like, this motherfucker.
Who invited this guy?
I would be the guy that invited you. So watch your poor mouth.
That's true.
Yeah, and I guess I invited Ricky, so this is all my fault.
Yeah, it's Sean's fault for taking a break.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But either way, so first off, number grades. What do each of you give it?
Out of what?
1 to 10.
10. 1 to 1,000. What's your number on it, Rusty? Fucking asshole. What do they do up in Canada?
I just want to know if it was on a 5 or 10.
Metric numbers.
Metric.
Yeah. On the
It's
metric.
It's a 2.7 millimeter.
What would I give it out of 10? That's a good question.
That's why I asked it.
On a scale of 1 to 2, what do you give it?
Do you guys do half numbers? Can I go?
Yes,
we do points. You can do decimal points.
I think I'll go 6.5.
Okay.
Now, do you want a reason as to why I gave it?
Well, let's get all the numbers first, and we'll go over.
Okay, we're gonna get there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna have to split the difference, say 6.5, because I would say 6 to 7. Like, it wasn't amazing, but we'll get to it. Yeah. I'll split the difference, say 6.5.
Yep, and I'll say 6.5 too. So we're all consensus.
No.
So the funny thing is, that's the same grade that we gave Wakanda Forever, Black Panther again.
It wasn't trash, but it wasn't great.
Yeah. It's like, but in that case, at least with Black Panther, like, I think the negatives were a little bit more
obvious.
They were a little bit more obvious. I think with this movie, at least for me in particular, it was fun enough. It looked really good. Like the way they did the quantum realm was actually very cool, but of course, extremely CGI, extremely green screen or volume. But you can tell the difference now, which I think is interesting. You used to not be able to tell the difference. Now it's like, that's blatantly fucking green screen or that's blatantly volume. But I think it looked good. I think it was acted well. But it was also kind of boring. And even though it really wasn't that long of a movie, it seemed too long for what it was. It's like, it seemed like there was just a couple little things like, we really didn't need to take this detour. It's like we could have literally just kept going. There was no need to do this. It actually didn't do much else other than slow down the plot.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, I heard a critique of this movie about the girl playing his daughter, which Cassie, took me a second.
Cassie. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the critique was not necessarily of this movie because you liked what she did. It was actually of The Last of Us, saying that actress, Catherine, forgot her last name, would have been a good Ellie in live action.
You think Cassie would have
been a good Ellie? Easy to be a
Yeah.
Monday morning quarterback, though, man.
Yeah,
it's
very easy. It was an interesting critique. I was just like, actually, yeah, she might have been a good Ellie. Not gonna lie. But
because the girl who's playing Ellie is pulling off the acting bit of Ellie. She just doesn't look like Ellie.
Yeah, generally speaking. But I think that she's missing some of the childhood stuff that should still.
But that's
be
a
there.
writing thing, not an acting thing.
But that's our biggest critique of that. Yeah. But either way.
But let's stay on Ant-Man.
Okay.
And it's funny how you said we were talking earlier, you and I were, about like, even if they're both yes, they're usually yes for different reasons. This falls exactly into that, because the things I didn't like about it were things you just praised about it. I did not like the visuals. I thought it was too CGI. It was just too much. Like, at the end of the day, 2-hour-long movie, there was 5 people in it. The rest of it was CGI.
Yeah, see, and I had the same.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's a sarcastic.
But no, I had to think about it. I was like, how many actual? Well, no,
because you had like those
Bill
alien
Murray was in there.
Yeah, the alien revolutionaries were in there. Like, but like that MODOK was trash. MODOK looked fucking dumb as shit. That was my least favorite part of that movie. Was Darren.
I want to bring up something about MODOK that I saw. Apparently, between screenings, there was an update to his visuals.
So this is people the better version?
No. It seems like if you saw it, the earlier you saw it, you possibly saw the shittier version of MODOK. So that's actually.
What I'm saying. So the one that we saw was the good version.
It could I'm saying.
They fixed it since then.
They fixed it since. So now that was a thing that I saw on the internet. So take it with a grain of salt, but it could be true because they actually. They had
but even if they fixed how it looked, it's still Darren, which makes zero sense. It's not MODOK. They already have MODOK set up in the MCU, and they made a reason for that character to make a return, and then they just squeezed in MODOK as it was, and I was actually fine with it. I'm not saying his visuals weren't great, and I hated how jokey he was. Like, MODOK is not jokey. I don't like that. I did not like that at all.
I think he was torn. For me with MODOK, it was. He was still Darren, as fucked as he was from his Pym particles. So like half the time he's like normal and sarcastic, and then he's just utterly violent. Yeah. And I think that stayed on due to the trauma, but now he gets some kick-ass weaponry and stuff like that. Did he need to go the route he did in this movie?
No. But I didn't like how much they were trying to keep up with Avatar and looks. Like, you could tell that was when they did the CGI on that, they were trying to chase the Avatar gold. Like, it's too much. It's too much over top. Too many bright, shiny blues, and I did not like the look of it. If I could watch it with my eyes closed, I enjoyed that movie a lot better.
Yeah. The problem I had with all these visuals too, and any of the MCU movies where we're not at street level, it's like you're trying to wrap your head around all the stuff that's going on. Like, if it's the Celestials or the size of the universe or everything that's happening in the quantum realm, it's almost too distracting while you're trying to keep track of the storyline, right? You're trying to take all this stuff in and figure it out in your head, like what's happening right now, and while trying to keep up with the plot at the same time. So
no, I get that. But like, for me, the one thing I appreciate is that, okay, so we've seen the quantum realm in 3 different ways currently. Possibly 4 different ways you count Endgame too. So the first time, when he's just very briefly passes through it and then goes down into whatever the bottom realm was, and then in the last movie where they actually went in to go get her out, and then we see it briefly as they pass through it in Endgame doing the time travel,
right? And
then we see it in a new section where it is more like a real world universe instead of just random crazy constantly shifting shapes that it sort of was in Ant-Man 2. So I like that they developed it into a real universe where it is legitimately like alien creatures and stuff like that. Is it a bit busy? Yeah. Is it a little distracting? I could see that, but not everybody's going to have that particular critique. But also the fact that they made it a distinct thing. Like, you could probably see, like, if we went to a Guardians movie tomorrow out in space, while it would still look alien, it would look different to the the quantum realm, or whatever you want to call quantum verse, as it were. And
but so the reason why the movie was boring for me was that I hated all of that development, and it made zero sense to me. I was like, there are people living in the quantum realm, and why did we need the
But I missed, how did
revolutionary
Kang get there?
and
Why is Kang there?
He was exiled by the other Kangs.
The variants. Somehow they shoved him into the quantum realm, right? And he landed there. I think like you guys said, it's like that movie had like 5-7 people in it, right? Did we need all the other stuff? Could we not have just developed the story that was Kang and Michelle Pfeiffer, whatever her character's name was, were the only two actors?
She just said whatever her name was to Van Dyne. That's crazy.
Yeah. So they were the only ones. They're the only human beings trapped in the quantum realm, right?
Yeah.
So Janet got out. And why?
Yeah.
Right. So why not?
Because technically, Bill Murray is a human.
Well, technically, not humans; they're Earthlings.
No, is he okay? But regardless, Bill Murray didn't need to be in that movie.
Yeah,
right?
he was a waste in that movie.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like, why Bill Murray? Like,
yeah, and then Darren. Sorry, so Darren is the other human, right? That we discover as MODOK, who's also trapped in. So why couldn't it just have been a story about Kang trying to get out and manipulating?
Because we needed the revolution.
Why?
Because that was the point, is the revolution. Because if he's going to be trapped in a universe with life, because if it was just him and Janet stuck there, then it's kind of boring. Like, there ain't nothing going on. But the idea that there's an entire society, an entire universe of people down there who have now been either enslaved or killed by Kang to further his goals.
Why not? Sure. Why not have him build out that society with all of his robot drones as an army that he's building for the day that he gets out?
Because I think that would just become basically Ultron. Like, it's basically just repeating Ultron.
Sure. So
I think that's just
all these movies are just repeating themselves. It's comics, they all just repeat themselves.
Now, if he was stealing people and converting them to robots, that's another story. If he's just building the robots and using it to enslave people or just leave them alone, because we saw like there's a whole society that basically is like he doesn't fucking mess with at all. It's just like the certain people that he basically forced out and took over their lands.
Yeah, he picked on the little man that he could take over.
Yeah,
I thought it was completely unnecessary. It was boring. It was long. It was unnecessary.
I felt like that was one of those rabbit hole offshoots that it's fine that it was in the movie, but it wasn't needed. It didn't really propel anything. Like the stuff that it did propel, they could have propelled without it too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, because I'll tell you what, I don't remember what the buff female chick's name was
at all. Like, I forgot that she was one of the actual real humans in that movie.
The weird guy with like the fire face, the fire lens head that's floating. Don't know his name, but I liked what he was doing. I liked the little jelly.
I like seeing it happen.
Yeah, it's like the little jelly guy that allowed them to translate.
Oh, actually, God!
Honestly,
that was another stupid
concept. Drink my jelly,
drink my fluids, and now you can understand me. Like,
yeah. Well,
I'm okay with that, because you remember I'm a huge Hitchhiker's fan where they stick goldfish in their ears and all of a sudden can understand the entire universe. So I'm okay with that part.
See, I love the idea that they had, like, why would people down there speak English?
Right.
So you had to give a reason for them to be able to speak English. Drink weird fluid. Cool.
Yeah. Like, find out weird fluid comes from a jelly person who wants to run around and have extra holes. Like, that was like, I laughed so hard at the how many holes do you have thing. That thing made me laugh, because when they gave the number, I literally had it in my head start counting.
Just like he did.
Yeah, like, I was like, he's right.
He's right. Yeah. Like, but that's like, so there was a lot of good silly parts of the movie, and it's Ant-Man. At least it's this Ant-Man. Yeah. It should be silly. But then it's like the just plotting fucking we didn't need to slow it down this hard. But then they also needed a reason for the two factions to be split. We had to find a reason for one set of good guys to be with the bad guys. But that's what I'm saying,
is we only had to have those because they put them in the movie. If they'd removed those things from the movie, they could have still made the movie happen without it.
I think they could have knocked it down just a little bit, or if they wanted to do something. Once again, this goes back to the argument I had, I don't even know how long ago. If they just did these things as series and actually gave you reason, like, to really break it down instead of cramming so much shit into a 2-hour and 20-minute runtime, it's like, cool. If we had the establishment of, we could have a whole episode of Janet and Kang meeting, doing their stuff, and then move on, and we get a little bit of Janet developing into the rest of the world in the quantum realm. Now she gets to know these people, and then we get 30 years later, and then she gets rescued, blah, 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 blah. Kang starts doing the thing. And then we get into them getting pulled in. And this is my biggest plot of the fucking movie. And I haven't said it to you guys. This is my biggest plot hole. How did Cassie reopen the fucking hole to the quantum realm after getting out?
Because the machine was fixed, right?
Not on their end. Her end was never meant to open a portal. It was meant to open a fucking radio signal. Like, and somehow, because now that Kang used his massively powerful future tech,
maybe it created a way to open it back up. Because
he
like amplified her.
No, he's using her tech to create the opening. That was my assumption, was that he's using his tech.
He used his tech to pull them in. So
he was like boosting her signal. His thing boosted her signal.
Yeah. So he piggybacked on her signal to contact them back.
Right.
And then using something pulled everybody into the quantum realm.
There's probably some deleted scene where she got out and hacked her thing and made it amplify.
Well, you see her. No, you see her messing with stuff very quickly. But why would that result in reopening the thing? Because after that point, she'd seen his stuff at that point. Yeah, she'd seen his setup, so she knew where her stuff was wrong compared to his. So she was able to but really quickly reverse engineer his thing. Yeah, but here's the problem. He opened that portal using his future tech.
Yeah.
Which was destroyed at that point when she reopened the gate. So she didn't have access to whatever that was. She just got their little quantum tunneling technology, but it opens the same portal the same way.
But what I'm saying is she saw the computer, like when they were in that room trying to get out of there. So she saw all their, like, I'm assuming, saw their schematics, saw how it worked. Maybe she had a relay on the second input instead of the third input. So when she got out there, she switched them, and so it amplified hers. I'm trying to make excuses for it. It is a plot hole.
No,
it might be a deleted scene plot.
Hold on, his stuff wasn't destroyed.
Yeah, it was. It was. Remember, he slams them into it.
Slams who into what?
So after Cassie gets out, and so Cassie and Hope get out.
Yeah.
Then before Kang can get to the portal,
Antman stops him.
He stops him.
Yeah.
Puts all the discs on it, and it basically implodes on itself and sucks in Kang too.
Right.
And it's gone. Period. Like it whatever happens to it.
Right.
And then the portal shuts.
Right.
But at that point, Hope had come back through it, right?
Right.
So now the portal is shut. The thing.
How did they reopen the portal?
Yeah. How do you reopen it when the thing that opened it is gone?
Okay. So
if it was still there, I would grant you that it's still connected somehow.
So my wife and I had that exact discussion about. So I thought when the portal, when the battle started, right?
Yeah.
I actually had this thought. I was like, I think they're going to write Ant-Man out here, and Cassie is going to become the next Ant-Man, right? Whatever, right? So I had the assumption going into that battle that Scott's going to get trapped in the quantum realm, and they're not going to be able to get him out, right? Or he's going to die or whatever, right?
Yeah.
When Janet came back, when Hope came back, I was like, oh, they're going to write them both out, because again, I was thinking contracts. They probably don't want to keep doing these characters, whatever. They're going to write them both out, right? And the portal closed. I was like, okay, here it is. It's about to happen. And then conveniently, right, they somehow reopen the portal. Everybody goes home. Everybody's happy, right? So it was very shitty writing at the end, I think, just to conveniently come up with a way to send everybody home.
Now, real quick before we move past this, I want to, I know, I'm pretty sure I shared it with you guys in the group. So just play along with me, because this is more for the listeners. Because you brought up their contracts, and I want to keep doing these forever. So I want all the listeners to, if you've seen it, just visualize it. If you haven't, Google it. Wilford Brimley in Cocoon, the movie Cocoon from the 80s.
Yep.
Can you picture him in your head?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now picture Paul Rudd as Ant-Man in Quantumania.
Oh, yes, I saw this. I saw. You sent it.
He is 3 years older than Wilford Brimley was when he did Cocoon. And I mean, that is absolute batshit crazy. Paul Rudd's a fucking immortal. He's a vampire. He's something. It's nuts.
Okay, so Paul Rudd's immortality aside, would it shock you to know that the ending we got in this movie was not the original ending intended?
It's the MCU. Of course not. They probably had 10 different fucking endings, and they test screened them all, and this is the one they went with because it ties into something else.
Exactly what Rusty was saying was the original ending.
Oh, to kill Ant-Man off?
Oh, they were going to kill him off?
No, they were going to trap him and Hope in the quantum realm, and Kang was going to get out. So that was the original ending. So Kang was supposed to leave when
that
their
puts
fight.
Kang in the MCU too soon, and they're trying to drag that out some.
But the thing is, it's basically what you said, Ricky, because people wouldn't accept that Ant-Man and Wasp are just stuck in the quantum realm now and gone until whenever.
Because they got Janet out, right? So that wouldn't make any sense. It was like, well, if they got Janet out, why can't they just build another quantum tunnel and go back and get them? Right?
They could eventually, sure. Yeah, because the thing is like maybe there's maybe they decided to start limiting that technology, because I mean, even fucking Tony Stark created the quantum tunneling to do the time machine. So I mean, the thing is like, even if Kang got out, he would get out with nothing, because his suit was gone, his chair was gone. All he would have would just be able to pop back in 21st century,
and the knowledge to how to rebuild that stuff.
Knowledge is great, but if you have no resources, it doesn't do anything. So
he didn't have resources when he landed there, so he'd try for it again, is I think the point.
Well, he had his chair. He just lost his power source eventually due to Janet. But the thing is, once you're in the quantum realm, you can eventually, you're there for 30 years. You get to find shit.
Oh, by the way,
he didn't have PIM particles.
By the way, here's another thing that didn't make any sense. That's a plot hole in my mind. In that entire scene, that whole scene is a giant plot hole.
Sure.
They keep saying that the time works differently in the quantum realm. So
it's
Hope jumps through the portal.
Yeah.
They battle for 15 minutes.
However long,
Hope comes back. Nothing has changed in the present day, in the real world.
See, but that might be the part where they were fixing the machine to make it be able to reopen the tunnel too. That's the part that you don't see. It's like off screen, all that magic.
Except but you're entirely right though. The whole concept of time dilation between the quantum realm and our world, yes, makes sense, because for Scott it was 5 minutes, and in the real world it was 5 years.
5 years, right? So then Janet comes back to help him fight. They fight for another 15 minutes, or Hope, sorry, for another 15 minutes.
A huge amount of time should have passed.
They go back to the real world, and everything's fine. Everything's the same. No time passed.
So I think the weird part about it would have been the fact that the tunnel that they were given via Kang, in theory, was also through time and space, because he does both.
But wasn't it also something to do with the suits from Endgame, like stopped the time dilation? Like that's why they were able to travel and come back still to the same shit?
No, because the thing there was that they used the time dilation of the quantum realm to travel back and forth. So regardless of what you do, time is relative to you in the wherever you are, it's relative to you. But the problem is that when you go into a place of slowed down time, realistically, which actually, given that Janet was there for 30 years, but it wouldn't have been 30 years in the quantum realm. If you think about that.
Yeah, should have been there like 3 years.
Yeah, it should have been 30 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
It'd have been 30 fucking minutes. Yeah. So the thing is,
she did all that revolutionary shit in 30 minutes.
So the other thing is that time probably passes different in the quantum realm.
Oh my god, that changes her thing with Bill Murray, dude. Because her and him got it on, and she's like, and Michael Douglas like low key says something about it. She's like, I was here for about mind your business. Like it's my stuff. I spread it how I want to. Yeah. With the time dilation, she was only there 30 minutes. So she literally got there, found Bill Murray, banged one out, and then came back to the real world.
Well, the other thing is
she's kind of a whore.
No, if you like I said before, though, where Scott was in it may have been a different chunk of whatever quantum level it was, because we've seen, like I said, we've seen different parts of the quantum realm, and depending on where you go into a vortex,
changes the dilation.
It changes dilation. So I mean, this is the problem. Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. This is the problem with fucking time travel, and like we like to see it as a linear progression from A to B, but sometimes A ends up halfway through B and actually inverted, and then they call it yesterday.
Yeah, so that's how they explained it best in the Loki show when they showed like that flow chart.
Yeah. Like but even then, the sacred timeline was still like,
it was still like, we can. But even that's the closest anybody's ever come to explaining it correctly.
Yeah.
By the way, can we make that the title of the episode, please? Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Can we?
Yeah,
can we
of course.
Awesome.
Wibbly.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, it's Antman. Oh yeah, maybe it's just going to be Wibbly wobbly timey wimey Antman.
And the Wasp.
And Wasp.
Paul Rudd,
Wibbly Waspy.
No, Paul Rudd, the Wibbly Wobbly timeline.
Yeah, Wibbly Wobbly Kangly Wangly Like,
yeah. Paul Rudd is immortal. Paul Rudd is immortal because of the Wibbly Wobbly timeline.
Yeah. But I mean, basically, Kang is a Time Lord who believes in weaponry. So I mean, it's really what it is. He's the master, kind of. Yeah. So I mean, and none of this means anything to Rikki, but he really is, though, and that's one. And by the way,
I'm assuming that's a Doctor Who reference.
Yes, it is. So the thing is that Kang or Jonathan Majors playing him, I thought he was great.
He was the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, agreed. Absolutely. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
But like the funny thing is, I actually kind of missed the kind of batshit insanity that he did as He Who Remains.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, but that's a variance, right? So there's going to be.
Here's the deal, though. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
What in the theory is now that He Who Remains is the same Kang. Because if you remember, he says, I've been called lots of names, Traveler, Conqueror, all these other things. So if he's the one who wins the war ultimately, and then actually manages to beat all of the other variants in the end, because really what this is going to turn into is one giant quantum war between him and the others, and then the Avengers get in the mix, right?
I think this whole next setup is going to be very confusing in the MCU.
It will be, but that's the point. I mean, it's Kang. It's not because he's in time and space and the multiverse. That's the thing. He's like, and then the end credit scene where we actually get to see the Council of Kangs was crazy.
Yeah.
And like, I gotta wonder if they actually made him put on like 40 different costumes, or if
I'm
they
gonna
just
assume they did at least some
of
them because he was definitely acting different as every one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw the He Who Remains theory out the window, because at the end of Loki, right, he dies. There's some shift in the timeline. Loki goes back to the TVA, and there's a statue of another Kang, who I'm going to assume is Kang the Conqueror, right?
Well, here's you're not wrong about that, but I'm saying he becomes He Who Remains.
He's saying that he who remains is the future version of this Kang.
Yes, that's it. So
yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah,
sure, whatever.
So the thing is with this, because you remember what He Who Remains said, you can kill me now, but all that's going to do is release the others, and then we're just going to end up right back here again. He knows already that if I die, they get out, they do whatever they do, I come back through just the way time works.
Time magic.
I win, and I start this all over again. And that's really what it comes down to. So yeah, when Loki goes back and now he's in a new timeline, the TVA is now directly in control of a Kang. We don't know which one. You know, it could be any of them. It could be Ramatet. You know, we don't know, because he looks, very different. But then if you go all the way to the super end credit scene, where it is a scene from Loki 2, we see him and Mobius looking at a Kang variant somewhere in like the 1920s, and that actually is a version of Kang from the comics that did go back in time after, or he got sent back in time after losing to the Fantastic Four, picked up that exact moniker, and basically stayed in the past until he could develop his time traveling technology again. But because if it's the same Kang, the one that just lost, and he basically, instead of losing, he got out, you know, because I mean, the way he manipulates shit, he always gets what he wants, even if it looks like he's defeated. Like he even told that to fucking Loki and Sylvie.
And I think that having him die at the end of this movie then gives everybody who's not familiar with the Kang character and his abilities that that his capabilities are that powerful that you can kill him and he will just come back somewhere else.
Yeah, he's still alive somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, he is the master. Let's be honest here. Kang is the if I would not be surprised if Kang, depending on when he came into the comics, was based off of Doctor Who's the Master. Because he's very similar. Because he's
okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, like they beat him time and time again, no pun intended. And even if they kill him, he still comes back somewhere else with a different face, but it's still him.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't even have to regenerate. He literally just says, well, actually, with my time magic, I exist over here.
Yeah.
You know, it's also kind of similar to Flash's Speed Force clones. Like basically, like you can go so fast, use a Speed Force to clone himself that's now running in a different timeline, and things can happen to that person, but the original one is unaffected. So, you know, and then also Kang can easily just disguise himself. At some point, he's taken over the place from another Kang, you know, and he just disguises himself there. It's like odds are he got exactly what he wanted. And like, while it, it didn't end great for him, he still got out of the quantum realm. So in theory, the whatever Timely his name is in the past, not Thomas, something Victor Timely. So Victor Timely, odds are, is the King the Conqueror that we saw beat in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but he got thrown back to the 1920s.
See, I think Victor Timely is going to end up being one of the variants that helps the Avengers and the heroes defeat the other variants.
Victor Timely might end up being the one that took over the Time Cop place,
the TVA,
all the statues and all that shit. Where he might be that one.
Yeah.
So the hard part with Loki 2 is going to be, how does he convince the other TVA agents that he used to know what happened, and
all
turn
the
them
TVA agents that I used to know somebody.
And I still argue that Loki was one of the better MCU shows, because it was basically the best season of Doctor Who we got in a long time. So
I can't agree with you on that, but I can agree with the Loki was actually it was interesting. It made my brain work. It wasn't just turn off your brain and watch TV.
Yeah. Now what'll be interesting is if we see where they go back to visit Victor Timely, is if he has Vickler. So they go back and find him in whatever universe he's hiding in, wherever in the infinite timeline now. And Rowena Renslayer is now his girlfriend in that timeline, because in the comics she was at some point.
Have they introduced her in the shows yet?
Renslayer? She was head of the TVA.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and remember,
you act like I watched that show last week. That was like a year and a half ago.
So remember, she leaves through a time portal before they break everything. So she knows about Kang. She knows that all the time, whatever they call it.
She goes back in time and hangs out with Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, she just goes and finds him. Yeah. And back when he was wearing a really awesome mustache.
When he was
the best disguise ever. A fucking mustache.
I mean, it's a step above just glasses.
Yeah.
But agree, Jonathan Majors is absolutely fantastic in both of the roles, right? As he who remains and as King the Conqueror, like he pulls off the whole
he pulled a gravitas to it.
The threatening, this guy could end all of them at any moment, like just that whole intense.
He reminds me of Magneto a little bit, where like when he knows you're on his side,
Magneto.
But he's like, so when he's talking to Scott before having to do any threatening, he's just like, this happened to me, this happened to you. Yeah, you can help me get out of here if you want, and I'll make it to where you can have Cassie back. You can have the time with your daughter. And then he's like, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, well, fuck you and your daughter. Like immediately, like just fucking starts crushing.
But even before that, right? Even when he's normally talking, and even with the scenes with Janet where they're just talking about, hey, how can we get out of here? And the whole time, right? You've got that sense that something's not.
You're just waiting for that
here.
switch to flip.
Exactly. It's fantastic.
You get that instinctual like creeps. Which usually psychopaths give off, like
bad vibes.
Naturally,
the hair on the back.
The hair on the back of your neck is always up, regardless. If you feel sort of at peace with this person, you know something's wrong. And
very much.
So when she rescues him, and they're just working to fix the thing, and then he finally gets his way, because the other thing is he found somebody who was quote unquote as smart as him to help him do the thing, and then. As soon as he gets his way, he did intend to help her, but he wanted to get his way first. It was only after she found out, oh, by the way, this is everything he did. And by the way, she's the only one who's seen what he did. Because she touched the thing and touched his mind.
Yeah, she touched his thing.
she touched his glowing orb of his TARDIS. She touched the heart of the TARDIS.
But again, very, very good choice in actor, very good acting, and it gives us that thing that we've talked about before, right? I think we've been missing for Phase 4 is James Brolin, exactly right. James Brolin as Thanos gave us that threat, right? And now we have the threat again that we can look forward to, and I am looking forward to seeing how it develops for him, right, and how the threat develops, but also. How he's going to portray these other variants that we saw in the post credits. I think
my biggest fear of it is them trying to make him a Thanos level. He doesn't have to be Thanos. He just has to be the bad guy now.
in a way, he's actually bigger.
Sense?
He's bigger than Thanos.
Yeah, because Thanos just affected just this universe. He can affect this universe and
everything,
everywhere on the timeline.
every universe. That's the problem.
But again, I think if you let Jonathan off the reins, right, you just write the character for him and let him off the reins and just let him do his thing. I think they'll be good, right? And if they interfere with it, then
see. And the cool thing is because he's such a big Fantastic Four villain, and we know Fantastic Four is coming in next phase.
Yep.
In theory, we could actually get the Fantastic Four versus Rama-Tut story in ancient Egypt. As weird as it is, but you know, he went back in time. He basically it was one
we haven't even got Fantastic Four yet, and you're already talking about this weird offset buried story in Fantastic Four.
But the thing is, it's like that was his introduction. Like he basically was one of his first time travel things is he went back in time, conquered a certain chunk of ancient Egypt, made himself pharaoh, and then ruled for God knows how long. And then the Fantastic Four fucked that up for him and beat that version of Kang. And now we've seen that version of Kang on screen. But in his universe, it wasn't Ant-Man that probably beat him. It was probably the Fantastic Four. So in theory, we could get that. And it doesn't even have to be within the 616 universe. It could be in that universe because they're all the fun thing about the multiverse is we can get these other character movies in other chunks that set up what happened to Kang that affects our universe.
But they could do like if they're gonna do something like that, I think that should be a Disney Plus like a Loki show, but have like a Kang timeline show and just do different episodes or about his different tries. Like
I mean that could be
2 or 3 episodes.
That could be Loki too.
I was just going to say they might do that with Loki too, right? And by the way,
but if they do that, you're not going to see Fantastic Four because Fantastic Four is like 7 years from now. Loki 2 is next year.
Yeah, well, the Loki 2 is done, but I mean that's the same thing as that because that story was set up in Loki, carried into Ant-Man, and now we'll go back into it with Loki. Like so, the multiversal stuff will happen in this chunk of the Disney Plus stuff. And then we're going to get the regular heroes doing regular hero stuff, and then galactic heroes doing galactic hero stuff.
Which I agree with. What I'm saying is that negates the Fantastic Four Egypt thing.
Well, no, but I'm saying if we never
Loki, if anything, it'll be Loki will go back in time and stop him.
But if we don't ever see that in Loki, then we can get that with Fantastic Four.
I don't think.
I just want a good Fantastic Four. I'm not ready for them to dig deep on Fantastic Four yet.
And I was just going to say the exact same thing. I don't think you can do an MCU Fantastic Four movie without doing a proper. Just fantastic. It doesn't even have to be an origin, right? They could do exactly what they did with Spider-Man, right? But it could be a Fantastic Four movie without getting weird. You know,
it's going to jump straight to the Galactus and Silver Surfer stories, what it looks like they're heading towards.
No, I think because
Celestials.
Well, I think that it isn't. They're within the multiversal phase. They're within the multiversal phases, right?
They already showed Mr. Fantastic.
But what I'm saying is, Fantastic Four movie.
I think it was the very last thing they showed. I think that's the very last thing.
It was before the Avengers Kang Dynasty.
Was it?
Yeah. It's the last movie before the two Kang movies, right? Like are the two Avengers movies. Which by the way, I want to go on record right now is so what they did with Endgame, where originally it was Infinity War Part 2. I wouldn't be surprised if the second Avengers movie becomes the Avengers and Fantastic Four. Kang's Dynasty or whatever.
But they're going to do it with the new Avengers that they're introducing now, and then they're also going to bring in Legacy Avengers because we're not going to have Robert Downey Jr. We're not going to have fucking
that we know of. It's going to be multiversal.
I'm saying like none of them are going to show. I think they're going to hold that card close to vest, and then that last movie,
they won't tell us.
Throw them all out on the screen.
I think dead Avengers. Avengers from other universes, because we're also going to have Secret Wars. So Secret Wars is a multiversal thing. So I mean, like that can.
And they're working on that de-aging shit. So they have 7 more years to fix their de-aging capability. So they'll have a young Robert Downey Jr. in that motherfucker. It'll be crazy.
Well, actually, I mean, they don't even have to do that because it could just be the Tony Stark we know. It could be any other Tony Stark, but it doesn't have to be Robert Downey Jr. Just like we've seen before with the other variants that don't even look like their variant.
And they're not going to do anything with Paul Rudd because he's still going to look the fucking
look the same. Well, in theory, they'll kill him off at some point just because now that this Kang hates the Ant family, odds are he's going to come back and kill everybody he can.
I don't think they're going to go that far. They can just leave it alone. Like,
he'll kill them.
Like, they don't really do that with everybody. They didn't kill off everybody. They let some of them live happily ever after.
But I'm saying Kang
pushed them to the side.
Kang tends to kill everyone. Like he doesn't even know how many Avengers he's killed across the multiverse. So the thing is, he doesn't even know who Ant-Man is. But so that means this Ant-Man fucking pissed him off to the point of they're like, okay, as soon as I can, I'm coming for you and the rest of you people.
You're now on my shit list.
Yeah. And by the way, I've realized since I just said it, we never actually talked about Rusty watching You People the other week, and I need to get that in the next episode. Like we mentioned that you watched it, but we actually never got your take on it. But not in this movie review. We'll do that separately.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it.
Ricky needs to watch it. Oops! Don't accidentally click on stuff, stupid. All right. So anything else on it that we can think of?
I thought Paul Rudd was good. I thought Majors was amazing. He literally was the best part. I was surprised how much I enjoyed Michael Douglas, because the last few times I've seen Michael Douglas, I'm like, oh, you could tell he's getting old and it's starting to wear on him. But this one, he had like a resurgence. Like he
looked better.
He looked better, and he looked like
he's lost weight too. Like he's
he looked like he lost some weight.
But
I know he's probably heard it his entire fucking life. But he reminded me so much of his dad in this movie. It was fucking disgusting. It literally was.
Oh,
like
he and his dad.
Douglas.
Yeah, he looks like Kirk Douglas now. It's funny, but also like
I didn't like Hope with the shortcut hair.
No,
I know that's comic accurate, but I don't think that actress could pull it off. She didn't have the right face. I don't
like her at all in this role. She's a terrible actress. I liked her in Lost, and I do not like her in this role.
You heard it here first. Rusty hates white ladies.
That's sure. Put me on.
She's Canadian though.
Yeah,
I think she is.
The thing I didn't like was that really bothered me was, so like Jonathan Masters gave us that
Majors.
I did that before. Jonathan Majors did gave us that there's a threat, right?
Yeah.
On the other spectrum, I did not get a sense from Paul Rudd or Michelle Pfeiffer. Like, did anybody ever get the sense that Michelle Pfeiffer was scared shitless?
She wasn't, because she's fought him before. She shouldn't be scared.
But I did literally said to her, Mom, what's got you so scared? Why are you so scared? Right? And I'm like,
the first freak out, yes, but after that, no.
I didn't get the sense, even when when they first ran into the Revolutionaries and they grabbed Cassie and Paul Rudd's freaking out, like, don't take my daughter. It sounded like a joke to me. Like he was joking about the fact that his daughter's being taken away. I didn't get the sense of impending doom from him at all. I didn't get that from Michelle Pfeiffer either. It just
well, to me, the Paul Rudd is explainable because he's cocky, because of having faced Thanos. Like, that would give you a certain swagger. Like, we took out Thanos. This guy's gonna be some.
He also hasn't done much else that we know since this.
And Michelle Pfeiffer would be. This is a known quantity to her. She wouldn't be scared of it. She's already faced him before. Hope would be terrified because she doesn't know Kang. They've never heard the story of Kang. They don't know what he did or what she was doing down there. She would absolutely be terrified of that.
I want to know what happened to her quantum realm powers.
What do you mean?
Because remember,
quantum realm powers.
Janet's. Remember when she came out, when they pulled her out?
Oh yeah, she was able to
fix Ghost. Like she actually synced Ghost back onto whatever phase. Like
maybe quantum realm powers don't work in the quantum realm. They only work in the real world.
It's kind of like Superman and the Yellow Sun type shit.
I think you're not wrong that she really wasn't acting that much. But the only other thing I could think of is that once she realized what was going on, like, she just shut down. Like, she was freaked out at first. She told him, turn it the fuck off. And then Cassie didn't listen, or they did turn it off, and then the shit went wrong. At that point, I think she's entirely in badass mode. Like, okay, it's like, now I have to go into the mindset of survival because now I know what I'm getting into. And then, like, okay, now I have to protect before I was only protecting myself from this shithead. Now I have to protect my entire family. And also, what's with Cassie calling Hank grandpa?
Yeah,
they're not even related in any way. But it's like, and even if,
well, I mean, technically, because he's with Janice, and Janice is her grandmother.
No,
she's not. That's right.
No, she's not blood related.
It's like adopted. Like, you never had those people like that. I used to call my best friend Chris's mom.
I get that, but it's an unearned quantity. Like, it's something that we've never seen happen, but now it is.
But it's not unearned. It was off screen because it was like during that whole the blip thing. She kept growing. She was with them and unearned.
That's why I'm getting at. It's unearned. It's like shit that happens off screen is unearned because we've not seen any development that allows for that to happen. Now we get,
but it's understandable though.
Now, if they actually
the first time we're introduced to her, she's what, 6, and in this she's like 17. So there's an 11-year time gap where she's spent with them as family. So
yeah, because
it's understandable.
Well, she didn't get blipped. So
yeah, so 5 years passed.
However, this isn't a multiverse where she completely changes actresses, and we don't talk about it, but it's fine. Well, see, that's the other thing. We assumed this was in 616, quote unquote. But
oh god, hold on, let me go get my tinfoil.
Put on your tinfoil hat because the actress changed completely.
Oh my god!
Now the thing is that her mom would allow
she had
her
a post-blip makeover.
Because you remember basically, like, even though, like, after the first movie, yeah, the relationship got better between Scott and his ex, but like to the point that wait, there's nobody else left though. Hold on, because everybody got blipped except for Scott. No other Ant family members existed, so she wasn't hanging out with anybody. It was only
wasn't Scott trapped in the quantum realm when the blip happened?
Yeah. But the rest of them were all blipped.
Right. Well, not Cassie's.
That's what I'm saying. Cassie
mother,
wasn't,
right? Yeah, Cassie wasn't. Cassie's
so she didn't spend time with the Ant family, as it were. It was
only after. Where do you get that from?
After Endgame is the only time she would have spent time with them.
Where do you get that? Where do you get that she didn't spend time with them?
They were blipped.
How were they blipped? They showed it. They did at the end of the ghost one.
Yeah.
Hold on. But we have to assume that there's been an amount of time between Endgame and
it's been I don't even think
it's been like 5 years. I think.
I don't even think it's been that far. No, not since Endgame.
It had to have been because he wrote the whole book. He's going on a book tour. Yeah. It's been time.
It doesn't take long to write the book anymore.
And there's also, right, like Cassie was talking about, she's gone through Uncle Hank's notes and blah, blah. So some time
Grandpa Hank, yeah. Right? Yeah, I mean, clearly, but I mean, like, for her to...
And even pre-blip, she was around them, too.
No. Because he wasn't hanging out with them at all, remember?
When she was a kid, he was already hanging out with them.
He was on lockdown after Civil War, so he couldn't go see them until Ant-Man 2, in which case all that shit happened. In the end of Ant-Man 2, they got blipped.
No, you know what? There's a scene in Ant-Man 2 when they get caught by the ghost and what's his name? They're tied to the chairs, right? Yeah. And Cassie calls Dad on FaceTime, Scott on FaceTime, and they're just talking on FaceTime, and I don't get the sense there either that they've met.
No, yeah, right? That's the thing. So post Endgame is the only real time that we know that she would have spent time.
But oh my god, okay, Ellie's hair looks like trash. Let's quit. We don't need to find a little thing to nitpick.
But it's never been established that she can suddenly understand.
Who cares? She calls him grandpa because he's old. She calls him grandpa because he's old.
But this goes back to the idea that she fixes the shit that only Kang could make happen in the first place. So
maybe that's like a little Easter egg that right now means stupid shit, but 7 years from now it's going to be something big.
Once again, totally unearned, and that's the problem with it. Like it just is, but
it might be unearned yet. Like you're saying with all the time travel stuff, maybe over the next few movies and shit, because they're going to bring the Young Avengers around, so they'll time travel and all that bullshit, and then she does spend time with them.
So for me, if they had actually done the thing where he accepted Kang's offer to fix time, and then they did the Back to the Future thing, it was like, oh no, I regret doing this.
It was already 2 hours long. You need to relax.
No, but I'm saying it's only 2 hour long because we went through the whole uprising.
Take out the revolutionaries.
Take out the revolutionaries. Look, take out the revolutionary story and make it about Ant-Man making the wrong decision. He would have made the bad decision that would have been bad for everyone. So what does he have to do? He's got to do the time travel thing to fucking fix it, or say everybody else is still in the quantum realm, but he gets out with Cassie and things are fixed.
So in this time travel movie, what was the almanac?
The almanac?
Explain. Well, there was something that is going to fuck up the timeline now that somebody outside of the quantum realm has the capability to see it.
I mean, it would have been anybody who would gain time travel technology. But the thing is that if Kang got out, thanks to Scott,
is Kang the almanac?
I mean, Kang would be the almanac, but the thing is, like, Kang getting out would be the differential. But really, what would happen is he would drop Scott back before Endgame in a timeline that the snap never happened, so he could never lose that time with his daughter, realistically, or just drop him back in the blip.
But what I'm saying is, you were asking how Kang could do anything in the real world. Maybe it's because this Kang that they pulled out are fucked with, he is the almanac. So he's gonna find himself in the past, maybe that Vickler guy you were talking about, and tell him, look, here's all the secrets. Start, buy these stocks, buy those stocks, save up money, and start building this.
It's not gonna go that far because Kang doesn't work well with Kang.
Especially
that Kang doesn't work well with other Kangs. That's why
Kang
they
on
banished
Kang
him.
violence. We need to
That's
stop
what it was.
That's hashtag stop the violence.
That's literally the multiversal war is Kang on Kang violence.
Yeah.
So it's Kangs all thinking they're superior to the other Kangs when now we know that those 3 Kangs are actually the big ones.
Well, this movie and watching him act in it, because we've seen him around, but watching him in this makes me want to find all the other stuff he's been in and watch him. Like I want to go back and watch that World War II pilot movie.
It's on Paramount.
It's on HBO Max.
Is it? I thought it was on Paramount.
Oh, Paramount 1 and 2. I don't know. I have it, whichever one it is. Yeah. Like I want to go watch that. I've still never watched the Creed movies, so I want to find Creed 1 and 2, watch them to play catch up on the story and get ready for Creed 3.
Hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
No, 3 hasn't come out yet. But I need
to watch 2. I need to watch 2 because I've seen 1.
I've never seen any of them, so I want to play catch up on those. Like I want to hunt down stuff he's been in because he really is a great actor. It shines in a Marvel movie. If you can pull off that much gravitas and make yourself stand out like that, that's just good acting. Because it wasn't just beat him up, gun him up, shoot him up, splash pagey shit. It was actually him acting, and I want to go back and it's like watching Tom Hardy as Bane. And I watched him do that, and I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go find some of his other shit." And then I found that one where he was, what's the guy's name? It's like a true story, The Prisoner in England, or whatever. Where it's Bronson. Bronson is the name of the movie, and his name is Charlie Bronson, like Charles Bronson. But he's
Death Wish.
No. This is a true story. The dude is actually in.
You're telling me Death Wish wasn't a true story?
And what I'm saying, this Bronson one is actually true story. Like the guy, I think the guy still is in lockup. He has the longest term of isolation, like being put in the hole in like history,
so to speak,
because he realized halfway through, like he only went in for like something short term, like 10 years or something, and he's been in there like 40 years now, and like 90% of it has been spent in solitary confinement. Because he realized himself that he's a bad human being. He only does bad when he's around other people. So every time they let him out of solitary, he like just stabs the first person he sees, so they'll throw him back in solitary. Like he loses his shit and he just keeps going. And
sounds like Kang.
Dude, Tom Hardy playing that guy was scary as fuck. Like I backtracked, and that's what I'm saying is watching Tom Hardy play like in Inception and getting to enjoy that, and then. It was actually Bane when he played Bane, and when he played that bootlegger in that movie with Shia LaBeouf. Like watching those 2 movies, I was like, dude, this guy can act his ass off. I'm gonna go find other stuff, and that's how I found that Bronson movie, and that shit was crazy.
And that's how we get to Venom.
Yeah, well,
let there be carnage, which I've never seen.
Yeah, but let there be carnage. They screwed the pooch on that, just like everybody else. They killed the main bad guy at the end.
I prefer my favorite Venom movie that Tom Hardy was in was actually Upgrade. I'm gonna guess no one else here has seen Upgrade.
I'm not playing this game with you. That wasn't Venom, so
no, but it's the same fucking thing. Like the voice inside of his head that heals his body and makes him more powerful. The whole damn movie.
I heard it was a good movie though. I haven't watched it.
I liked Upgrade. And we watched Upgrade after watching not Vox Machina, but just Machina or is that what
Ex Machina?
Ex Machina. Yeah, I forgot the X part. Yeah, so I watched Upgrade after Ex Machina, and I'm like, I'm done with fucking robots for the day. I was like, I'm done with AI and fucking robots, man.
Let's turn on Terminator 2 just to have a fresh wash of all this.
Yeah, it's like where they all get wiped out.
But we're here to talk about Antman and the Wasp.
Yeah. But what I was getting to was his acting capabilities. Jonathan Majors. His acting capability makes me want to go back and look at other movies with him in it and watch some of his new stuff. Like he was great.
I don't understand.
Paul Rudd was just who he needed to be. He's good. I like him. He's funny. Michael Douglas was great, like surprisingly good. And the rest of them were they were okay, or they were meh, or they shouldn't have been there. Like Bill Murray should not have been in this movie. It was a fucking waste of Bill Murray.
Such a waste of a big
cameo.
It could have been anybody. It literally could have been anybody.
Literally.
They could have made Bill Murray MODOK, and I probably would have been better than Darren.
I didn't like the giant. I didn't like the giant head thing on MODOK. By the way, I thought that was really dumb.
That's comic accurate as fuck.
But I mean, that's how MODOK looks. But
that's not my problem.
I was okay with it. I didn't like his turncoatness. That made no sense. I was like, I feel like he should have been like just completely insane the whole time.
Man, hardcore.
Like and while I excused his split personality earlier by the same reason he was as Yellow Jacket, it's just at this point is like he should just be fucking MODOK, not like this. Yellow Jacket MODOK made no sense.
Yeah.
And it was fun for him to come back in and fight. But I'm gonna say one last thing about this movie that actually should have been a big plot hole. How and why could this time traveling can manipulate anything fucking villain just stand behind a fucking shield in a hope that his auto guns stop Giant Man? It's like, I'm just gonna stand here and fucking wait and watch my auto guns not be able to stop Giant Man.
I got a bigger one for you.
Yeah.
When that broke, right?
Yeah.
And he jumped down to join the battle in his full armor, and he's blasting everything and disintegrating people left and right.
Yeah.
Why is it that the minute that those beams why is it that the minute those beams touched Ant-Man or the Wasp, they were fine? And if anybody tells me it's because of their suit,
it's called plot armor, you piece of shit. Welcome to
literal
the world.
Plot armor.
Stupidest thing. I'm like, oh, so the minute that Scott or Hope get hit with this, they're toast, right?
And
then they get
it's set to the vibration of people from the quantum realm, and they're not from the quantum realm, therefore it doesn't affect them the same. Boom, nailed it.
Terrible explanation.
It's better than whatever explanation you had in your head.
I don't have an explanation. That's why
it's not a terrible explanation. It is a plot hole. But it's the other idea is like, just okay, I can stop all these people, I can do all these things.
Goose tail.
Also, it's just.
So he's playing with his goose tail.
And also, I said this as well. We were talking about it in the Discord. Why did Scott or Cassie take their helmets off in giant form?
Dude, I said that like so many times, like not even in giant form, like the middle of battle. Like I even looked at my kid, like I was there with the boys, and I looked over at Isaac. I was like, do we ever take our helmet off on the field during live play? He's like, no. I'm like, then why do they have theirs off?
It's so dumb. Like, and I get it. Like, actors are just being that picky.
They have to show their face to get money.
But this is why I hate the fact that everything is nanotech and they can just boop and the helmet's on. I was like, having the physical helmet and having to fucking take it off and the consequences therein mattered in the first movie, in the second movie, and it was only after Endgame when they got the nano Ant-Man suit. Which the fact that Hank allowed that to happen after the fact, he should have been like, get all this Stark bullshit out of my fucking tech. Because as cranky and specific as he was against Stark tech, he should have been like, nope, we're getting rid of this nonsense. Because they basically took the PIM tech and cranked it up to 1 million using whatever Tony Stark's shit is. It's just like he took PIM particles to the nth degree, basically. It's just like, we don't even need the ant technology as it is. Speaking of which, ants, super intelligent ants that were sucked in into a time vortex.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Like, why? I mean, I'm glad they brought ants in, but that was the dumbest ex machina of the movie. Because we saw no ants get sucked in. I saw no ants, period, up to that point.
No, you did. Right when they were all getting sucked in, just before they got sucked in, the nanotech ant farm.
The ant farm got sucked in. Okay, I missed that. I did miss that.
It was still stupid.
It was dumb. Again,
okay.
I
did miss that.
And the army of nanotech ants.
Okay, so eliminate the revolutionaries and just make it the army of ants.
Nope.
I would go with that.
I'm down for that.
Completely unnecessary.
Because they've gotten away from using the ants, and that's stupid. Even when he rode in on a giant sized Antony, basically.
Anthony too, sir. Rest in peace.
We assume two. We assume two. We don't know.
Anthony's gone, so
I know the original Anthony died a long time ago.
Rest in peace, Anthony. I still love you, even if Shoki hates you.
Anthony.
but no, it's just like but the idea is like they would finally use ants, but like it's just like the fact that it's like, okay, where the fuck are the giant ants? Where are the fucking giant ants? And then here come these super intelligent nano giant ants of multiple sizes. Now I love that they had the cannons on them and everything. It's like, why do we need any of these normal-ish people on the ground? We have a giant fucking army of nanotech powered ants.
And I like having Hank Pym bring them in.
Yeah, that I was on board for.
Like, but when that was almost like the 3 Spider-Man doing the Spider-Man flip in the air in the fucking last Spider-Man movie. That was almost one of those, oh my god, yes moments. It was almost that, just seeing him come in as Ant-Man again with all the ants and stuff.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say is that like while Scott and Hope still seem to be a couple, at no point was there any romantic chemistry with them in this movie.
Not until the end when they almost died.
There was the care between them, like when she went to rescue him from inside the mystical, magical giant orb of doom and probability. I like the idea it was basically a probability drive. Like it's just like every version of Ant-Man that could happen is suddenly there to help him and then not. But like that was a cool, weird concept. And then she went in there to rescue him instead of just leaving him.
I was perfectly fine with it. I thought it was cool because it's an element of the quantum realm, right?
Yeah.
That's I got it. That was good.
And basically that is like the infinite probability drive.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Sure.
You know, anything could fucking happen if you don't have control over it. Yeah. And being literally inside it, you would have no control. You just need to get to it to make it go small again. Because somehow it went really big.
Giant ants.
Somehow.
Giant ants are stupid. Hashtag giant ants are stupid.
So are you like putting this out as video or just audio?
Video for Patreon.
Hey, Sean, look what I did for you.
You froze for a second. There you go, Sean. Yeah, it's been on the screen for a while.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know if any of y'all noticed. And Sean's stupid, so I'm pointing it out for him, just in case
Sean wouldn't see it because he's not on the Patreon.
Well, Sean would send us the link. So, Sean, when you watch this, that's for you, buddy. Love your fucking face.
I noticed it, and I just didn't want to bring any attention to it.
I just want to know how Rikki is Sean's mom. That's weird.
Don't ask questions you really don't want to know the answer to.
I could see if you were his grandpa.
I'm my own grandpa.
But either way, guys. So I think I don't think there's anything much else to say about this movie. It was there.
It was fine. It wasn't trash. It was better than just a movie, but it wasn't anything great.
It was a good introduction to the next big villain.
Yeah. But as an actual beginning to Phase 5,
if you're going in looking for a Winter Soldier or an Infinity War or any game or that, you're going to be sorely upset. Yeah, but you're definitely going in better than some of the other shit.
Best movie in Phase 5.
Absolutely. I agree.
Hey, that was my line. That was my fucking line.
Better than most of Phase 4 combined.
Yes.
No, because Spider-Man No Way Home was better than this.
I said most of. I did not say all of.
This is, but I don't know. I was just making the argument.
Because I also liked Moon Knight.
Yeah, Shang-Chi was better than this.
Yeah. And I liked
which
Moon
also
Knight.
Deals with multiverse.
Yeah. I don't know if I like Shang-Chi better than this. Okay. I put this and Shang-Chi about the same because it was the same thing. It was a CGI fuckfest. So
yeah, but Shang-Chi actually had a story that made sense with mostly compelling characters, but it had Awkwafina, so it automatically loses 4 points.
Yeah. So if it was a 10 by having Awkwafina, it's automatically a -20. That's a hard one to fight back from.
Yeah, it's like Shang-Chi should be a 9, but in fact it's like a 4.5 because of Awkwafina.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Awkwafina is so bad.
She's the worst.
So
everything
bad.
she touches is
I hate
trash.
her
She's
in
like
everything.
she's like the Mindy Kaling. She's on that level with me. Like I can't stand her either.
Sorry, which one's Awkwafina?
The girl.
She was Katie. She was his friend.
The one that was with him. The one that used the bow and arrow at the end and shot the thing.
You didn't like her?
She's the fucking worst. Her voice annoys me.
She's beyond obnoxious. Like
her voice is like on Tara Reid levels of obnoxious.
Wow. Ooh, I'd give it that. Yeah. No, everything about her grates me too. I hate it.
By the way, I just threw an Owen Wilson wow in for you guys. Wow.
Okay, Morbius.
I love that post-credit scene, by the way. That was awesome.
And I know it's Mobius, but I purposely said Morbius.
No, you didn't. You're just trying to say you did it purposely to fix it.
I did.
Because it's not the Morbius
strip. Because Rusty is definitely the Morbius of Antman.
It's the Mobius strip. Which I always thought was cool that was his name, and that's a tie-in to time travel and stuff like that. Like I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Weird that his name would be a time travel pun.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta wonder what his real name is. Either way,
John.
So,
John, Bob,
just John,
just something.
It's probably
generic.
It's Tim.
He's a Chad.
No, he's not Chad.
Joe.
So it could be Joe. He does look like a Joe, especially with his nose. He definitely.
That's a cool name, Joe Morbius. Come on.
Mobius. Or it could be Joe Mama. Yeah. Either way. So that was our really bad review of Antman and the Wasp and the Quantum Mania and the Master and Timey, Wimey,
Wobbly, Tobbly. What?
Yeah.
What did we call it? Timey. Timey. No,
we didn't say Timey.
We
will now.
Wobbly,
we will.
frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Either way, guys, go subscribe to all the things, but mostly subscribe to this channel. And of course, you can join the Patreon if you want to help support, where you can see most of our handsome faces over here. I changed it from beautiful for Rusty because he made a big deal about being called beautiful last time. And then Rikki has been in and out constantly, so it's fine.
That's what she said.
Yes.
What?
Okay.
Yes. So either way,
it's just still be Paul Rudd is immortal because of the Wobbly Tobbly timeline.
Wobbly Tobbly. It's getting worse.
Whatever. Wibbly,
it's getting
tibbly.
worse.
Wibbly squibbly.
Says the non-Whovian.
Wiggly squiggly.
We're excusing the non-Whovian for his ignorance. Either way. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Stay frosty, cheese bags.
No, that's stay frosty. No.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.